That don't seem right. That doesn't seem right. Aha! This way somewhere. I think that's how he does it. Why is there 2 snares? How in the world do they deal with all this stuff? That could have been the battle. That don't seem right. Hello everybody, I'm Michael, bass player for Ginko Balboa. I'm going to answer some questions and attempt to set up this drum set. Right. My favorite metal band would definitely be Lamb of God. I believe Matt said this, but definitely White Zombie. I was a huge White Zombie fan. And besides that, I really didn't listen to a whole lot of hard music. It was more like rock and roll and stuff, and the normal stuff. Alice in Chains and Nirvana. And when I joined the previous band, the members there started introducing me slowly into other metal bands. And then really I was first turned on to Lamb of God. Maybe that's why they were my favorite band, but I started moving on to harder and harder metal after that. Beer. Apple. No particular reason, just the dude at the AT&T store sold me on it. This works for me. That's what we'll do. What's the next one? If I could play any instrument, it'd be the saxophone. It's sweet, it's sexy, it serenades. For obvious reasons, Michelangelo. You know, the whole name thing. Definitely boxers, more comfortable, room for the boys. Guilty pleasure music. Ed Sheeran, Aretha Franklin, John Legend. When I'm in the car by myself, I enjoy soothing music. So the big one right now is Ed Sheeran. I listen to a lot of that when I'm all by myself and no one else is around. I could join any band. What band would it be? That's a great question. I would probably join Suicide Silence, just because I love how crazy insane they are. But for that, I'd have to grow my hair back so I could windmill with all of them. Because if you can't windmill with those guys, you definitely don't belong. The furthest I've ever walked in, I would say it was around 10th grade. My buddy and I would sneak out, and we did this for months. I'd stay at his house, and we'd sneak out. And his road was in this like deserted area, so you had to walk down this long dirt road. And actually, to get there quicker, you cut through some woods that was pitch black. It was pretty scary. So the overall was probably 5 miles, and it was all to get to a final destination where these two sisters lived. And we would have a makeout party for a few hours and then walk all the way home. Now, for somebody in high school, that's worth every minute of it. Pepperoni and bell pepper. Love pepperoni. Bell pepper kind of makes me feel like I'm being healthy, but not really. We all know pizza is fattening and delicious. Pulp Fiction. Anything done by Quentin Tarantino, but definitely Pulp Fiction. It's a classic in my book. I can watch that movie over and over. Well, when I first started playing bass, I wanted to play in a punk band and be just like Flea. And then I figured out how difficult that was, and it just didn't end up being the route I went. But when I was growing up, my older cousin was a bass player as well. And he'd always bring me to shows to watch him play. And it was really what drove me to want to play bass. And I would say that my cousin Lauren was my influence. I was driving down Florida's Turnpike on my way to work, and there was a man on the side of the road in his white SUV. And he's standing at the back of his SUV, jumping up and down, obviously in a panic. This man needed help, and nobody was pulling over, so I figured I'll pull over and see what he needs. And I pull over and I back up to him, and I get out my truck and I'm walking over to this gentleman. And as I'm turning the door, he's explaining to me his wife is having a baby. So I turn the door, and sure enough, there she is. And this baby is coming. It's there. And I went into go mode, I guess, to help these people. And I'm telling the girl to push. He's down there. I'm down there. Next thing I know, the baby comes out. I'm calling 911. They're telling me to tie off the umbilical cord. So I didn't have anything available, so I ran to my truck and grabbed a knife, and I cut off the guy's shoestring. And I tied the umbilical cord up, and then right after all the craziness was done, and there was this baby laying on the lady, the paramedics and everybody started showing up, and I backed out. And I'm sitting on the side of the road for like 15 minutes with everything, on my hands. And then finally they cleaned me all up, and I was actually able to help these people deliver their baby. And it was a pretty crazy experience. I pretty much own the bass that I do like. Maybe an updated version of the Music Man would be sweet. They got one out now. I don't know the name of it, but it's all squared and funky looking, and it just looks really cool. And then as far as, amps, I'm happy with my amp, but I wouldn't mind having an Ampeg speakers. I would own some Ampegs. Yeah. Obviously, I did a horrible job at this. Please like and subscribe. If you guys have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below. If you have questions, I have answers. I would be happy to respond. Please check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Facebook. Or any of the other media outlets that we have. We would love to hear from you guys, and we plan on posting more videos. Thank you, guys. Anything else I should say?
You put the Toms on upside down.
Perfect.
Maybe we should leave it like that for Brandon to come in.